So today I want to talk about learning from setbacks. And I know a lot of times we look at setbacks as why is this happening to me instead of actually looking at the lesson that it is teaching us. Setbacks are not to keep you back unless you decide that you're going to stay there, unless you decide that you're going to be defeated by whatever the setback is. Setbacks are going to propel you forward if you allow them to. A lot of times we deal with discouragement, opposition, we deal with personal misfortune. And these things, I wouldn't say to expect them all the time, but it happens. It's a part of life. But how you come back from it, it all depends on you. There's a story that I listened to from a seminar with Bob Proctor. The name of the seminar is Born Rich. Bob Proctor is no longer here. But in the story, in the seminar, a guy by the name of John Canary talks about a story of a man that was blind. He became blind because of an accident that happened in Vietnam during the war. That's how he became blind. But he said that the man said that he always felt sorry for himself because of his disability. And I know many of us, we're not even blind, we don't even have a disability, but we're sitting down feeling sorry for ourselves because of something, a setback that may have happened that not really keeps us from moving forward, but we've accepted that setback as defeat. Defeat is only a state of mind. And if you allow defeat to dictate where your life is heading, then you're forever going to be defeated. If defeat is only a state of mind, if something has happened that made you feel defeated, you have the opportunity to turn that into a lesson to propel you forward. Everything in life is a lesson. I do not consider anything a loss anymore, because the only way it will become a loss is if you never learn from it. And I think a lot of things circle back. A lot of past mistakes, a lot of lessons, a lot of tests keep circling back just to teach us and to help us learn from it and decide, are we going to stay where we currently are, or are we going to move forward? Are we going to use this as a lesson, or are we going to say that this is a loss? I think you can learn from everything that happens in your life, the discouragement, opposition, the personal misfortune, because these things do happen. However, you would have to decide whether or not you want that to take you off course or to steer you back on course to where you were going. When setbacks happen in our life, or when something may happen that looks unfavorable, most of the time we respond to it emotionally. And when we respond to something emotionally, sometimes it causes us not to learn a lesson. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't respond to things emotionally, because we are humans and we have emotions. These things happen. We have emotions. But it's how you control those emotions, and it's how you look at things. Sometimes your perspective needs to be a bit different. And you need to ask yourself, rather than having a victim mentality, you need to ask yourself, what is this actually teaching me? So this month, I had a lot of expenses. I won't even lie to you. I had so much expenses this month. However, I had to change my perspective on it. Instead of saying, wow, I had to spend all this money, I had to tell myself, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to even, go my way to do these things. Because imagine if I did not have the funds to do it. Just imagine, I always think of someone that may be in a position that may not have the funds that I have. I think about those people, and not to say that I'm better than myself, but than anybody else, because I'm not. But I always think of someone else who may not have the opportunities, who may not have the funds that I have, and I say, you know what, I'm grateful. And I think changing your perspective on certain things helps you to look at life a bit different. Let's just give an example. Let's say you probably lost a job, and I talk about this all the time, how I lost my job during the pandemic. Imagine that. I still have bills to pay. The bills don't stop. You still gotta put grocery in your home. But had I accepted me losing my job as my final destination, or that being the defeat and nothing else in life would happen for me, I would still be in that position of not having a job. I couldn't accept that as my last destination. And the reason why is because I believe that great things are always happening for me. And I'm so glad that I learned to change my perspective on certain things, because if you never change your perspective on certain things, you will always stay stuck. There's a quote inside of the book that I'm currently reading, The Magic of Thinking Big, and it says, I don't know if I'm quoting it verbatim, but it says that how you respond when you lose determines how faster you would win again. How you respond when you lose determines how fast you would win again. And I had to decide that even though I lost my job, that does not define who I am. And because I lost my job, that just means that a better opportunity is up ahead. Now, that better opportunity may not come tomorrow for you. It may not come 2 months later, but there's always something better up ahead. And at that time, I had to stop operating in a scarcity mindset, because operating in a scarcity mindset would make you feel like there's nothing better ahead. And when you learn to operate out of a mindset of abundance, you know that there's better up ahead. Almost every successful person in life has encountered setbacks. Almost every successful person. But what they do is they sit down, reflect on how they could have done things differently, and they move forward. Because that setback doesn't determine where they will go in life, but they have to learn from it. If a football or baseball, whatever kind of team it is, basketball team, if they lose so many games, what the coach does, the coach has to go back to the drawing board. He has to sit all the players down, and he has to look at what they did wrong in the game. They probably have to watch the game over to find out what they did wrong and how they can correct these mistakes moving forward so that they could win again. And that's learning a lesson and deciding that when you do move forward, you won't make these mistakes anymore. Because we could look at the mistakes that were made and still not move forward because we've never learned a lesson. We look at the mistakes, we see the mistakes, but we keep repeating them. So how can we not repeat those mistakes over and over? What you need to do is decide that you want to go forward. Decide, I'm not going to make these mistakes anymore. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. It's up to you to decide where your future is going to go. It's up to you. So today I want to remind you that you don't have to accept defeat. You don't have to accept a setback as being something that would set you back forever. Sometimes those setbacks are placed there for us to learn from, to propel us forward. But you have to learn from it. You have to learn. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also give a like. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and see you in the next video.